my Facebook, we're live. I hope everybody is well this Wednesday morning. It's kind of overcast in Drogheda here. Big congratulations to Ireland qualifying for the final of the Eurovision last night. Unfortunately, we can't qualify for the World Cup this year, so the Eurovision is going to have to be it. I suppose today what we're going to be talking about is our exam special. Excuse me, given that it's the time of year that a lot of young people, students in general, not just kids, will be studying for major exams and major awards coming up, and it can be quite a stressful time for everybody in the home. It can be stressful for the young people who are studying. It can be stressful for parents, siblings as well, because everyone can be walking on eggshells sometimes to make sure that the people who are studying are having a quiet space. And I suppose we're going to deal with some of that in some of the questions we have, because sometimes the quiet space isn't what people need to study. So we'll delve right into it. I hope you've all grabbed your coffee and it is Wednesday, maybe something nice to eat, and we're going to delve right in. Okay, so the first one we got today is my 17-year-old is obsessed with the fact that exams are coming and feels like her life depends on it. How do I help her to relax into this and realize that while it is serious, it's not life-threatening? And I think it's something, there will be parents listening to this going, oh my God, I wish my child was like that. I can't get them to pick up a book. Whereas there are other parents who will really, really empathize with this and be able to say, yeah, that's exactly how my child is, because they are putting so much pressure on themselves and they're feeling so much pressure from everywhere, from school, from friends, from all over the place, to do exceptionally well. And sometimes the pressure can come from you as a parent, and you may not realize it. So although you may be saying that, I want you to relax and take time out, you might also be sitting there going, time to go back studying. I suppose the first thing we need to recognize with this is that this is pressure she's putting on herself. Okay, so there may be other pressures coming from elsewhere, but eventually what's happening is that she is the one who's saying, I need to do more. I need to get the best results that I can get. And it's very difficult for you as a parent to be able to try and get your child to step away from that a bit, when I suppose it's kind of like running your own business in some ways. If there's more hours in the day, you feel like you could be working those more hours. So I've been in the situation myself where, it might be 1 a.m. and I'm kind of going, if I do just another half an hour, it'll make a huge difference. And you do the half an hour and you're just getting more and more tired. So it's about being realistic. And I suppose if you can help her set up a study plan that's going to work for her. So I suppose looking at her day, so she's probably in school or in an educational institution where she is studying during the day. So that's going to be one thing, where she's doing her revision, doing her learning in school. So she has to recognize that she's actually doing a lot while in school. Then the other side of it is looking at making sure she's taking regular breaks. I honestly believe that after kind of 40 odd minutes, we start to take in less and retain less, because what happens is we start to get distracted. So all of a sudden we're studying really hard, and then the leaves and the trees outside become exceptionally interesting, and the little cracks in the corner of the bedroom wall become very interesting, and maybe I should change my carpet, or maybe I should change my bed around, or whatever it might be, and we start to get distracted and pulled away from the concentration. So I'd always say to people is, do a max of 40 minutes. If you've got someone who likes to study an hour, and then take a 10 to 15 minute break, because what happens is becomes overload, and we start to forget what we've learned, and that causes more anxiety and more stress. The other side is making sure that your daughter is getting some time away from the study, that she is getting to go to the beach, see her friends, go for a walk, take part in her activities. It's a lot of... There's a lot of parents would say to their kids, you need to pause all your activities while you've got, you're coming close to the exams. But that might not necessarily be a good thing, because they need the break. They need the mental switch off from constantly being under pressure. And I think that's the thing. This is pressure. Like we try to support our kids and help them realize that life is tough, but we want to support you as best we can. But yet there is a massive amount of pressure with, say, state exams or major exams. So it's one of those things that we need to be able to show them that this is how you de-stress. Maybe switching off, watching their favorite TV program, having some time with their games, with their phone, whatever it might be, where they can start that switch off process. And then look at what might be good enough. So for some reason I suppose everyone tries to strive for greatness or to be as good as they can. Well, a lot of people do. But that sometimes puts a lot of pressure on us because, maybe we have to accept that what I've done is good enough right now. It may not be as good as I could do or as I feel I should do, but maybe it's good enough for the work that I've put in. And, it's not the life and death. Like you say, it's not life and death. It is literally an exam. If it doesn't go well, you can do it again. There is always, always, always another path. And never before has there been more options available to students to reach what they want to reach. It may take longer. It may take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years longer. But it is going to take that time. If they really, really want it, they can do it. So look at how she can de-stress, time out, mindfulness, where she can break away from study, get a good, clear study plan where she knows she's taking time out, where you know she's taking time out, and help her through that. I hope that's of some help. Cheers. Okay, second one today. And this is the complete opposite. My son does not care at all about his state exams. He refuses to study and says that the education system is a joke. I'm fit to murder him. What can I do to encourage him? So, like I said, there's going to be a lot of parents out there who are going, that's my child. They just do not care. Not willing to study. I barely get them in to school at the moment. They're just not interested. And I suppose there's a wider conversation here around the fact that the traditional education system that we have doesn't necessarily suit the majority of people. So what it does is it suits people who learn in a certain way. It doesn't suit everybody. Not everyone is going to learn by sitting down, being quiet in a chair. And we need to recognise that, and that's okay. And I think, some of the most successful people in this world have been the people who've been able to find what they're good at and get supported to go and do that. So the other side of it is we do have, in Ireland certainly, and I'm sure in most countries, we have this state's exam system where in order to progress through education, you need to do a certain level. If you have a child who's doing nothing, there are a few things. You can look at their learning environment. So what way do they learn best? If you have a child that you're not sure that the traditional system is working for them, send me an email and we'll look at trying to find what way is the best way for them to learn, what way they're going to develop their study plan that's going to work for them. Now, you may be saying, they don't even have any books, the books have disappeared. Sometimes we have to just let natural consequences kick in. And what I mean by natural consequences is let them not be successful. Let them maybe fail if that's what's going to happen. Now, you might be sitting there screaming, but I have to do my job as a parent to try and encourage them. But in reality, you can't force anyone. You cannot force anyone to study. And why would you want to? And the reality is that the frustration, the annoyance, the embarrassment that you're going to feel at them failing is not an ounce of how they're going to feel about it. They're going to feel 10 times worse. So maybe sometimes we have to just allow them to fail, but be there so that when they need the pickup, they need someone there to say, okay, you messed up. What can you do differently? And accept that. This is life. Sometimes life is going to teach us harsh lessons. And this is one of the harsh lessons that maybe they're not going to do well. in that exam at that moment. And it might be the kick in the ass that they need to get moving again. But do look at how they learn and try and promote that environment. So some people are going to learn better with people around them. Some people are going to learn better sitting at the kitchen table with noise all around them. Some people are going to learn better by sitting in a bedroom on their own in complete silence. Others will learn better with having music on around them. It's okay. It's okay to look and try and find the best ways possible. But that's all you can do. It's like the old saying, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Start to look at what is it they'd like to do. No matter what it is, it may not be their career, but what is it they would like to do, and what are the steps that they need to do to get there. It may be that they don't need state exams to get there. Okay, well maybe you can make an agreement that, okay, if you're not willing to work, you know, for the state exams, you have to go and get a job or find a way to create that career that you want for yourself. We're not going to have people just sitting around in this house. And then you have to look at the consequences that are going to encourage that, so that that's not the case where you actually don't allow that sitting around. But sometimes it's very difficult at 16, 17, 18 to know what you want to do. So many people I know have changed career in their 30s, 40s, 50s, some people in their 60s. You know, and everyone knows the old story of the guy, the colonel who set up KFC, did it in, I think, his late 70s or his mid 70s. So it's one of those things where we have to find our own way, and it's important that we have that space to do it and mess up and deal with that ourselves. So natural consequences, but support as much as you can. Okay. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Karina. How are you? And Dilta, if you're still knocking around, good to see you. I've been meaning to call into you the last couple of weeks. So, number 3. My parents are putting so much pressure. Okay, so this is from a young person. My parents are putting so much pressure on me because they want me to go into the medical profession. I would love to be a teacher, but my parents have said they won't support me, so I have no choice. How can I get them to realise that I need to follow my heart? So, again, this is something I come across quite a lot when I'm working with young people. They'll be sent to me by their parents to work on their motivation, work on their, I suppose, getting them to do what their parents want them to do. But I will always say to parents, that's not how I work. I'm not another voice for the parents in the ear of the child, because they have enough of that. It's about looking at the child, and no different to natural consequences for the children who don't study. There needs to be a realisation for us as parents that our children's paths may be different to what we would hope for them, expect for them, or want for them. So if you put yourself in the position of your child, if you were forced to go into a profession that you didn't want to do, you're probably not going to enjoy it. Now, there will be lots and lots of parents out there maybe who are saying, oh, but, you know, my parents forced me into this profession and I've been successful, and, you know, I've got a good lifestyle, and I've got we got a good wage coming in. But what about doing the things that you love? And I think this is something that we need to be mindful of. We only have one life. We have one life. Now, that's not saying that we need to be reckless about things and that we need to just go off and, you know, run around the woods and live in huts. What I'm saying is that if it's not your passion, what's wrong with your child going and being a teacher if that's what they want to do? And if they change their mind, that's okay too, because they have so much time. You know, we could work for the first 20 years of our lives and still be 40 with the same and more left in our working lives. And we seem to forget that by the time you hit 40, you're not even halfway through your working life. And it's you know, you're probably going to have more than double that on this earth. So why not have a go at doing what you love? You may be highly successful at it. It may be that you turn around and say, this isn't what I love anymore. That's okay too. But as a child, or as a parent, it's important that we don't put our expectations on our kids and force them to do something that they don't want to do. Now, I am completely mindful that young people are young people and their brains haven't fully developed and they may not know what they want to do and they may need guidance and they may need support and they may need encouragement, and that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. But in this case, we have a young person who's saying they don't want to do what their parents want them to do. They want to do something else. Now, maybe for you, the young person, what you can do is you can sit down with your parents and say, that's fine. Don't support me financially. And you go and try and find ways. You go and you work your ass off to get the money, to put yourself through college, to do what you want to do. Yes, it's going to be hard, but if it's what you really, really, really want to do, then follow it. You may turn around in 5 years' time and go, no, not for me, but that's okay. At least you've given it a go and tried to see if this is really what you want. You don't need to rely on your parents. Now, there'll be parents shouting at me at this stage as well, going, don't be telling our kids to go and do their own thing. But why not? It's their life. It's not your life. You're living your life. For right or for wrong, if you're happy or not happy, that's okay. Don't put it on your kids. So put the ultimatum to your parents. Support me or don't support me. That's absolutely fine. But I'm not doing what you want me to do. I'm doing what I want to do. And if they end up kicking out of your house, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. But you're going to find someone who'll take you in, who'll support you, and will allow you the flexibility to go and do what you want to do. It's going to be very difficult. And I'm talking about, families go through difficult times, and that's okay too. You need to follow your heart and look at the people who've done it. My good friend Dulda here, is a fantastic tattoo artist. I don't know how much he was encouraged as a child. Maybe he was completely encouraged, but maybe he just followed his heart as well. And that's fantastic too, because what you end up doing is something that you love and enjoy. And we surely as a parent, what you want is your child doing something that they enjoy and love. Let them worry about the money side of things. That's up to them. You want to see them be as content as possible as a parent, so support them. Thank you, Karina. Appreciate that nice comment. Okay, last one for today. My child is always listening to music when she studies, but there's no way she's studying. She says it helps, but we always end up in an argument. What is the best way to study in your opinion? The age-old question. What is the best way to study? Well, it is different. It's different for every single person. So we all learn in different ways. There are 9 different intelligences that we can all have more strength in and less strength in others. So the traditional thing was, for a lot of people I know anyway, was they were sent off to a bedroom, go and study for 2 or 3 hours, and then come down and have some dinner, and then go back up for another hour or two. And that just does not suit. So like I said, you get to the 40 odd minutes and all of a sudden every crack in the wall, every ant strolling up the window is becoming more and more interesting. What I'd say is, it's important for you and your child to figure out what is their learning style. Contact me if you need more information on it. I'll talk you through it. But once you do that, you can start to build the study plan around it. So listening to music may actually be the best thing for your child. Maybe she is doing what works for her, because it may not work for you. And that's something very difficult. I was only talking to somebody at the weekend about this. It's very difficult sometimes to recognise that how you learned and what was the best way for you to learn could be the complete opposite of your child. And that can be quite hard to do and to get your head around. But it's important, because there's no point in you sending your child to learn in a way that worked for you when it doesn't work for them. It just makes absolutely zero sense. Now, obviously, if the music is blaring at, huge decibels, you need to turn it down a bit, but it's about letting her figure out what's the best way that works for her to study. And, sometimes people being on their own just doesn't work for them. So let them go with their friends to study groups or after school study or whatever it might be. That could be the best thing for them. And, it makes them feel calmer. And ultimately what we want is our children to feel calmer, because they're learning in a way that works best for them and gives them the best opportunity to stay calm when it comes to the exams. Once they're calmer about the exams, they're more able to access the information that they've studied. So maybe for her, having the music on is okay. And maybe you just need to take a step back. And if it's not the best thing for her, it's going to show itself in her results. And like I said earlier on, she's going to be way more disappointed with those results than you will ever be. Way more. And if she's not disappointed by it, maybe it's okay for her. So it's very much about empowerment. I do want to say what I do have is a brand new special program that I have for young people and students in general. You don't have to be young, obviously, to be a student, where we do a 2-hour block. And what we do is we look at your learning style. So we figure out what is your best learning style. We build your physical environment around that. We build your study plan around that. We look at how you can structure a study plan that works best for you. And we also look at dealing with, say, the anxiety or the motivation levels through using logosynthesis and stuff like that. It is available. We can do it online or we can do it face to face here in Drogheda. But if you're interested, do contact me. Drop me an email to info@helpme2parent.ie, the number 2, or send me a message on Facebook or any of the social media accounts. It's a 2-hour block working with your young person to build a program that's going to work best for them, that's going to allow them the space to get the information that they need out on the exam day, and the practical things of what to do in the build up to the exams, what to do the night before, what to do the day of, and that kind of thing. So it's very practical, but also you're dealing with the emotional side of things as well for young people. So as I say, if you're interested in doing that, please do send me a message and we will organise that. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will speak to you next week. Take care, guys.